Hello, let's talk about Imperial Agents datasheets. Of course, my focus is Astra and Harm, and a little bit Custodes, so I will talk about especially how useful they are for them, but I will talk a little bit about them in general. First, you have two things to know about the new Imperial Agents. They have two values. One point value if you use them in only Imperial Agents army, another point value if you use them in any Imperial army. So that's something to consider if I talk about the points. I will split this a little bit up. This video is about the Inquisitor units, so the four characters, the Inquisitorial agents, so you see a lot of them on my table, and their Chimera version. Because if I talk about all the units, I will probably make a 2-hour video, and it's probably a little bit too long. So you can look for you the part which interesting you most. But I will start with this. First, we have a normal Inquisitor. That's a resin model. I was really excited that they don't remove it. This was, in my opinion, one of the units which was most in danger, but it survived. In my opinion, a little bit stupid because it just released or published, however we ever call it, the Warhammer Plus miniature, and that's an Inquisitor. Why they just sell us a normal generic Inquisitor? Don't know, but they just Eisenhorn is removed. Who cares? I care. He cost if you play a normal Imperial army, 55 points, and have the same price in your Imperial Agent army. He have some useful abilities. He have a very powerful psychic weapon, range 18. I hope you can see it. Like a little bit like 2 flamethrowers, 2 armor penetration, and the German devastating wounds. A little bit closer. But also his other abilities very useful. You can gain one of your CPs back with this unit. For example, you can put him in a big blob of spacemen or Custodes, and then you throw a grenade and you get your CP back. Get back is a little bit wrong word, and you gain a CP. For example, if you have Astra and Lord Solar, you gain 1 CP anyway. In this case, this ability is a little bit useless, but you can use it, for example, in the enemy turn. If you, for example, they use the stratagem which give you cover, and then you can gain the CP back. Could be an idea. I think you could do some useful things with him. And he have a little bit firepower, and for 55 points, yes, why not? The new Inquisitor model. He isn't that big. I painted him a little bit, but he is not finished yet. Just in comparison, that's normal human, so it's a little bit more junky, but you have power armor. Yes, why not? And of course the bird. That's the bird. Yes. He is a little bit more expensive. If you play only Inquisitor, he costs 75 points. And in every other army, it costs you 95 points. Probably too expensive for the most armies. Weapons-wise, you have a similar weapon like another normal Inquisitor, but anti-demon 4+, anti-infantry 5+. Yes, but and a pistol or pistol one-shot. Demon Hammer, strength 9, 3 attacks, could be useful. And he gives your unit invulnerable save from 4+ against psychic attacks and 6+ against any attacks. 6+ is probably not very useful, and you could use him, for example, for a 20-man guardsman squad, give them an invulnerable save. But I think it's not worth put a character which is more expensive than 50 guardsmen in the squad. So, yes. But his ability is very useful. This ability, you can use this eagle, and this eagle is not a unit, it's a token. Then he removes cover for an enemy unit. So that could be even in a guard army a good useful idea. put this deny one dangerous enemy unit cover, and then all tanks blow it to pieces. So it could be an idea, but I think it's a little bit too expensive. Next, the Xeno Hunter Inquisitorin. She costs you 75 points for or 95 points in every army. Probably a little bit too expensive for the most armies. Weapons wise, not very impressive. Anti-infantry 4+. Assault could be a good. Oh, sorry. A good combination with the Custodes, because they all have assault. Sturm is the German word for assault. So if you know assault gun, assault rifle, in German all Sturm, Sturmgeschütz, Sturmgewehr, and devastating wounds. It could be useful weapon, but for this price, not very impressive. She have two abilities. One is if you fight Xenos, you get 1 to your hit roll. And for guard, this stacks with the orders, because the orders improve the ballistic skill by 1. So just imagine you have a ballistic skill 3, and then you have a ballistic skill 2. And this improves the hit roll from, for example, a 1 to a 2. Or you can count it like this, or from a 2 to a 3. And then you hit on a 2 if you normally would only hit on a 3. So this stacks, because you can't improve a hit roll more than 2, but you don't do it. You improve the hit roll by 1 and the ballistic skill by 1. So you can hit 2 points better than you would normally. So it's very useful. But in my opinion, it's a little bit too expensive, and it's only useful if you fight no Imperium, no Chaos units. So could be a little bit lucky, but if you, for example, want to buff some very big unit for Custodes, would be a little bit useless, because they hit most on 2+ anyway, and you would hit rolls of 1 always fail. For Guardsmen, probably a little bit too expensive. Yes, in a normal Guardsman unit, yes, probably a little bit too expensive, but her other ability is very useful too. You have to roll a d6, and on a 1, the unit get d3 mortal wounds. So the unit, for example, if you put her in a 20-man Krieg squad, and then the 3 of your Kriegsmen die, which come back anyway, and you get the bonus because they have lost models in this Kriegsman squad. But this don't stack with because their ability increased the hit roll by 1, and she increased the hit roll by 1 too. So this don't stack. But if you are successful, you get a little bit like Lone Operative Light, because the enemy must come in 18-inch to fire on you. So you make your unit a little bit more survivable. Then the second thing could be useful. And one of my favorite Inquisitors, Inquisitor Greyfax, Katharina. This is the model, just normal human-like model. Costed price 65 points for your Inquisition army, or expensive 65 points in every army. So it's the same price. That's interesting. And she has some very good abilities, in my opinion. You have 2 weapons, which are only 1 shot, so they are very good, but 1 shot is very swingy, so I use them a lot, but I don't do a lot of damage with this. But Anti-Psionica 4+ is very impressive, because if you have her in a unit, all your guardsmen wound even something like Magnus, even something like Motarion, even a big demon on 4+, or something For example, if you put Typhus with Terminators on the deep stack, even your poor guardsmen wound them on 4+, or your Custodes, which was one of my use cases for them. And this is also very useful on Psioniker 4+, if you have someone with devastating wounds in the unit. Guard don't have a lot of units with devastating wounds, but for example, the Primaris Psyche have devastating wounds. On a 4+, the Psyche get devastating wounds, not on 6+. That could be an interesting anti-Psyche combo. If the Sisters of Silence are still battle line, the war one times, then would be a good idea to put some Inquisitor to them. Then all they have devastating wounds on a 4+. Could be an idea. And then one of your abilities are changed. If unit is under, if the enemy unit is under half strength, you get +1 to the hit roll, and that also stacks with order. So it could be an idea to finish a unit of even a big unit like big demon or big demon Primarch or something. If he is under half strength, then this unit can finish him off a little bit easier. Yes, and then the Inquisitorial Agents. They are, in my opinion, one of my favorite units, because they can do a lot of. I have some third-party model, just the unit model with a cloak, or you have. Yes, you have not much options for every model. You have only 2 options, but you can combine the arms and the heads and in everything you want. You have so much options. Or if you get another, for example, this is built from the body or the body. I got some this is a 3D printed body with some weapons from the Exaction Squad on the Sisters head. So nobody knows how Imperial Agents look, and they probably will look very different. Or this was some of the Death World Warriors. This is the Servitor. I lost the arm from the Servitor, so I put some other arm on it. It must be painted, but or what we have, a little bit different build. The big chainsaw. So you have a lot of options. Yes, they are monopose. Yes, you have only 2 options official, but you can build a lot of. What is it? Probably another model, total different tray. So you have a lot. You can do a lot of things with them. Gameplay purpose, they are cost 50 points. It's in my opinion a little bit too expensive, and if you know Imperial faction, they cost 60 points. For armies like Knights, or if you play, for example, even if you play Custodes, could be a good idea to include one of them, or to guard your home field objective, but they're just normal humans. Why I say for Custodes could they be useful? Because most of stratagems don't, or I think all of them, don't apply for the Sisters of Silence. So they would be another choice, Sisters of Silence or this Inquisitorial henchmen. And I think Sisters of Silence are a little bit more expensive than these guys, and your stratagems don't hit them anyway. And they can have the Servitor, and the Servitor can have a plasma gun or a melter gun, so you have a little bit more firepower than Sisters. The agents are all equipped with a pistol. Normal pistol, nothing special. One of them can have a plasma pistol for every 5 models. Just one normal plasma, the plasma pistol. And the Servitor can have a plasma gun. So that's the same gun, Swanson's gun, like Liam Ross, or a multi-melter, or a heavy bolter. Depends a little bit what you want. Probably all the options could be useful in most cases. They're a little bit more fighty than Guardsmen of 3 attacks. The Servitor, the big chainsword is a little bit more dangerous than normal Guardsman weapons, but only one of them, so it could be useful. And one of the agents have this guy with the staff. he have a psychic attack, anti-infantry 4 plasma, and could do a little bit more damage, but yeah, not that great. If this model is led by an Inquisitor, you get -1 to wound roll, so that makes these normal human-like squishy things a little bit more doable and a little bit more interesting. And they have this ability. They have this book skull. I'm just looking for my book skull. There's one book skull. Something like a servo skull with the book, not nothing special. But this is a token, and for every 5 models you can force 1 battle shock test once per game. And that's important. You can do this in any phase. That's very important because, for example, if you shoot something and then you must take a battle shock test, yes, this could be useful later. But for example, you could do this in the enemy command phase, force someone close to you to a battle shock test, and if you fail them, then he don't score points this turn. Or if you every time use some stratagem to make his unit more dangerous, then you can even deny it or try it with a battle shock test. Yes, in my opinion, at least a useful ability in any phase. That's the important thing to know. And then the Chimera. The Chimera is, in my opinion, one of the best transport in the whole game. Because of a whole, it's much more, much better armament than Rhino. Rhino is a little like a transport tank or an armored transport, and this is the Chimera is a little bit like an armored fighting vehicle. You can have a whole arsenal of weapons. For example, you can have a flamethrower, you can have a turret weapon, you have a front weapon, you have this is the last gun array with 6 shots, or rapid fire 6. You have 12 shots if you're close. Yes, they're only last guns, but 12 last guns could do a little bit of damage at least. And the firing deck 2+, or 2 firing deck. So you could, for example, put 2 squads of 6 Imperial agents in this thing. With 2. There's the other one. With 2 gun servitors, and then this Chimera, which have a lot of firepower, have 2 plasma guns or 2 melter guns, 2 another 2 bolter guns. So that's probably my way to use them. Give them enough firepower, and then drive the Chimera and the agent squad on an objective. And you have a hunter killer missile. The Chimera is probably one of the few vehicles in your Imperial agent army to really have a punch on enemy vehicles or enemy heavy stuff. And his rule is very useful, or her rule, however you want to call him, is very useful. You can advance and put the models out of the transport, and they can still shoot. So, for example, if you want to finish off an enemy unit, if you could just advance and then put the models out and then shoot something, for example, if on an objective so the enemy can't score, or you put your models on an objective and then try to shoot that you have more objection control than the enemy. So you probably can do a lot of things with this vehicle. It's a little bit difficult if I play guard, because I must the guard Chimera have, of course, other rules. And the points cost are Chimera 70 points in the normal army and 70 points in every army. So even if you play Spacemans, you could now use a Chimera. Of course, you need the agents, and then it's probably a little bit less likely. But for example, you could put the agents in your Chimera, put the agents out on your home objective, and then drive the Chimera in the midfield to do something. And it's very doable. It's not as fast as the Rhino, but it's more doable in my opinion. More wounds, and it's, as I said, it has a lot of firepower. You can also have a stamina on it. So you have a lot of firepower with this small vehicle. Yes, and that's the agents. I think next time I talk about the Space Marines in this, that Grey Knights and Death Watch. Death Watch is a very sad story, but I'll talk about this next time. Bye bye.